News time, 5:51. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Greg Rice.
Well, as you've been hearing here on 1010 Wins tonight, we have demonstrators throughout the city. Right now, I'm looking at the 1010 Wins Jam Cam at 6th Avenue at West Houston Street. I see hundreds of demonstrators marching uptown at this hour. So this is going to be the story of the night. Wherever these demonstrators go, you're going to see closures, frozen zones, different kind than you've been dealing with all week, and just a whole lot of gridlock through lower Manhattan, really south of Houston Street. If you want to be in the city, you want to be using mass transit. Now, the subways are not perfect tonight. When are they? You've got delays on the AE, FM, JN, QR, and W trains, but other than that, the subways are fine and probably still better than trying to move a car through lower Manhattan tonight. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Citybound George is fine. West Side Highway getting better getting out, which is good because it's the best of the sky. Northbound Deegan, best out of the Bronx. Lincoln, 20 to 30 minutes in, 20 minutes out from 11th U19, still 30 to 40 minutes at the outbound Holland tunnel. And keep in mind, en route to the outbound Holland, a lot of the cross streets off of Barrack Street near West Houston and King Street are going to be shut down because of police activity. Inbound Holland, an extra 20 to 30 from the Skyway, better but not perfect, off of the inbound Newark Bay extension of the New Jersey Turnpike. Staten Island bound Verrazano is slow, as is the westbound Staten Island Expressway all the way to Victory Boulevard. Greg Rice, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
Let's get a check now of your AccuWeather forecast. Here's meteorologist Carrie Schwindenhammer.
We have a cold weather advisory in effect right through 10 a.m. tomorrow, and the bitter cold is going to be the big story here, especially since our coastal storm is not going to have much of an impact in terms of snowfall in our area. Tonight, we're dropping to a low of 8 in the city, but 0 to 5 below in many of the colder suburbs under mainly clear skies. Quite cold tomorrow as well. Sunshine followed by some clouds, a high of 20. Then brisk and cold, lots of clouds tomorrow night, below 14. That storm, as I mentioned on Sunday, could bring a coating to an inch to parts of eastern Long Island. Otherwise, windy and cold with clouds breaking forth and afternoon sun. Wind gusts to 35 miles an hour in the city, the high 24. It'll be brisk and cold on Monday despite sunshine much of the time, the high 31. Right now, 17 under clear skies, humidity 34%. The wind out of the northwest gusting near 25. Again, 17 going down to 8 in Midtown. I'm Carrie Schwindenhammer on New York's weather station, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
A Banksy auction is on the way.
Banksy's pieces will lead a street art sale next week at Julian Auctions, where Cody Frederick is the marketing director.
He is the face of social awareness. He takes on irony of the world around us and then really turns it into a visual representation for the world to share and experience.
A Banksy rat painting could go for $150,000.
The rat really is about the rebel in all of us, the people to rise up, is kind of the mindset.
The auction also includes memorabilia from the Beastie Boys and Wu-Tang Clan.
Correspondent Michael Wallace. The Danish restaurant Noma set a new standard for food as art and became famous worldwide. And now Denmark is expanding the definition of art.
Freeze-dried butterflies on a kale and parsley leaf with fresh nettle cheese? Denmark's culture minister says that is art. The country has launched a new initiative to reclassify cooking from craft to art, just like painting and ballet. That would make top chefs eligible for state subsidies and funding from private foundations. It still needs parliamentary approval. Deborah Rodriguez for 1010 Wins.
Now the bottom line for small business.
In recent years, we've seen a number of nonprofit organizations successfully open restaurants and cafes while supporting their important work. One notable example is Emma's Place in Carroll Gardens. With their culinary training program, they equip refugees with the skills needed for a meaningful career, and they have expanded to additional locations. Now the nonprofit Oyata Group has launched Nourish, Cafe in Mont Haven. This initiative not only teaches culinary and service skills to local residents, but also anchors an important and growing retail corridor in the South Bronx. Inspiring work indeed. And that's my view on the bottom line for small business. I'm Rob Walsh for 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
WINS FM and HD1 New York. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
More people get their news from 1010 Wins than from any other radio station in the nation. Swatina Kakar is at the editor's desk. I'm Lori Madden.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM, New York.
Good evening. Heat wave is over. Back down to 17 degrees now at 6 o'clock. I'm Larry Mullins, and here's what's happening. The so-called bomb cyclone isn't going to get us after all. AccuWeather says the storm is shifted, but the dangerous cold is still there. Stand by. The Jeffrey Epstein files casting a spotlight tonight on one of the leaders of the New York Giants. A set of emails suggests the chairman of the team allegedly used Epstein to scout women for him, and it's raising eyebrows. A potentially life-saving decision for Luigi Mangione today.
Just wanted to thank the court for this incredible decision.
His lawyer, Karen Friedman, after a federal judge took the death penalty off the table if he's convicted. Hollywood and movie watchers mourning the loss of legendary actress Catherine O'Hara tonight. The star who gave life to the character who played Kevin's mom on Home Alone has passed away at the age of 71. And it's not as cold down in Florida as it is here in the city, but it's still cold enough down there for NASA to decide it's not the best time to launch a rocket. Today's launch of the Artemis, scrubbed. 10-10 winds, AccuWeather, breezy, clear, and cold tonight, dropping down to a low of 8. Wednesday news time 6:01. Let's get you where you need to go, and here's Greg Rice.
As you've been hearing here on 10-10 Winds, demonstrations unfolding through Manhattan tonight. We have seen hundreds, if not thousands, of demonstrators marching up 6th Avenue past West Houston Street. This has been going on. I've been watching this jam cam for about 15 to 20 minutes, and the people just keep going. So, yes, south of Houston Street, you got a whole lot of closures in lower Manhattan. If you insist on being in lower Manhattan tonight, the subways are going to be the best way around town. A, E, F, N, Q, R, and W trains do have delays, but even with that, the subways are still going to be the better idea. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. City-bound side of the George has gotten a whole lot better. The upper level is in pretty decent shape. The lower level was never an issue, so that continues to just work out great. Getting out of town, the West Side Highway, best of the major options. Yes, it's slow from the 70s on up, but everything else is worse. You're already on the West Side, Riverside Drive and Broadway, and then you hop on the West Side before the George, in much better shape. The Lincoln Tunnel, 20 to 30 minutes in, still about 20 minutes out. Holland Tunnel's about a half hour on the outbound ride, but getting better. Inbound Skyway still worse than the New York Bay extension. Battery Park Underpass, west side bound. You are dealing with a crash. Only one right lane gets by. That's why you're slow on the southbound FDR all the way back to the Brooklyn Bridge. Westbound Jackie Robinson Parkway near Forest Park Drive, a crash. That's what has you slowing down through Kew Gardens both ways on the Grand Central Parkway. Greg Rice, 10-10 Winds at 92.3 FM.
Thank goodness the hawk has been redirected, folks. AccuWeather says the Arctic cold will still be with us, but at least we won't have to contend with the likes of a bomb cyclone. The nor'easter went somewhere else to menace somebody else. AccuWeather meteorologist Gary Swindenhammer with us tonight with your weekend forecast. Karen?
Yeah, thankfully the bomb cyclone, the coastal storm, is going to be far enough south and east where I think the primary areas that are going to be affected by snow are going to be extreme eastern Long Island, also portions of the Cape and islands near Boston. But this storm is pretty much a non-entity for us, except for the fact that it will produce wind, and that wind will be quite noticeable during the day on Sunday with gusts to 35 miles an hour, adding to how cold it feels. The cold is a big story, of course. Bitterly cold tonight, down to 8 in the city, but 0 to 5 below in many of the colder suburbs. Tomorrow we're up to 20 with clouds in the increase, and then maybe some moderation on Sunday, but temperatures may not even get to the freezing mark by Monday. Larry?
Thank you, Carrie. Meantime, the call has gone out from our new mayor to help out our fellow New Yorkers, people in need during these cold nights. There's a system in place, and of course, our Julia Papa tested it out.
With Code Blue still in effect, Mayor Mamdani continues to urge New Yorkers to get involved.
If you see anyone that you think might need help getting into shelter, please call 311 immediately.
I did. A homeless man in short-sleeved shirt on the street for days. I told the mayor my experience with 311 wasn't great.
Call 311. They switched me to 911. The call halfway through got disconnected. All right, so rather than call 311, I called 911 directly.
And then the description to EMS was completely inaccurate. The mayor said he'd review the protocols and look to improve the website reporting system. Juliet Papa, 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM.
And you know Juliet will do a follow-up to make sure that thing is working and give us the updates. New details emerging tonight from the Epstein files. The government dropped at least 3 million more document pages, and a certain set of emails suggests Epstein was allegedly scouting women for one of the higher-ups in the New York Giants organization. Specifically, some of the emails show Epstein connecting to New York Giants chairman and co-owner Steve Titch and several women. So far, there's been no response from the Giants organization, but in the emails, Tisch reportedly received scouting reports on women from Epstein, and the two allegedly discussed whether women were pro or civilian or a working girl. Those emails were reportedly sent in 2013. There are also emails between Epstein and women in which they discuss actually meeting with Tisch. Some reference the possibility that Tisch could help them with their acting careers. Some of the files posted to the Justice Department's website contain pornographic material. Officials posted warning prompts then telling people that they must be at least 18 years old to view them. 1010 Wins will continue to monitor developments as more information emerges from these controversial documents. Also tonight, Luigi Mangione relieved he had been waiting for a judge to decide whether or not he'll be subject to the death penalty if he's convicted in the killing of United Healthcare worker CEO Brian Thompson. But the judge in the case says nope, finding such a penalty and the case technically flawed. Mary Lynn Buckley tonight.
Luigi Mangione's attorney, Karen Friedman Agnifilo, speaking out after a federal judge ruled the death penalty is now off the table.
Just wanted to thank the court for this incredible decision. I want to thank this amazing legal team that we have here. It's really wonderful. And thank all the people who come out, stand here in the cold, and the people who can't come here, all the supporters. We get your letters, we get your emails, and we really appreciate all the support. So thank you all. Stay warm.
This is officially a non-capital trial with jury selection expected to begin September 8th.
We're all very relieved.
Mary Lynn Buckley, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM, outside of federal court.
The 27-year-old Mangione has pleaded not guilty to both federal and state murder charges. The state charges also carry the possibility of life in prison. The judge's ruling douses the Trump administration's bid, meantime, to see Mangione executed for what it called a premeditated, cold-blooded assassination that shocked America. Out of Hollywood now, you've been hearing the news. Emmy Award-winning actress Catherine O'Hara has died.
After getting her start in the Canadian sketch comedy series SCTV, which also helped launch the careers of John Candy, Eugene Levy, and Martin Short, Catherine O'Hara found fame with starring roles in the beloved films Home Alone and Beetlejuice.
If you don't let me gut out this house and make it my own, I will go insane and I will take you with me.
She won an Emmy for playing the always quotable Moira Rose in Schitt's Creek.
Gossip is the devil's telephone. Best to just hang up.
Most recently, she was Emmy nominated for her roles in The Last of Us and The Studio. Catherine O'Hara was 71. Andrea Dresdale, ABC News.
We will never forget Catherine O'Hara as Kevin's mom in Home Alone. Kevin! In fact, we've seen her recently in a Chase Bank commercial with Kevin Hart. Little Kevin Hart. Boy, oh boy, should be missed. Breezy this evening, says AccuWeather, mainly clear and bitterly cold overnight with a low of 8 degrees in the city, 0 to 5 below in many of the colder suburbs. And then tomorrow, sunshine followed by increasing clouds, still quite cold with a high of only 19. We're at 17 right now in Central Park. Mayor Mamdani says the city just got more than $5 million in penalties and restitution, which will go out to more than 49,000 New York delivery workers. As the money, a settlement, comes from Uber Eats, Fanchuan, and Hungry Panda. The reason, well, he says you can't not pay a delivery guy just because the customer cancels while the guy is en route.
All three corporations basically did the same thing. When deliveries or trips were canceled, they did not pay workers for time they had already worked, even though the law says that they must.
Mamdani says the cancellation wasn't the delivery guy's fault. Pay them their money. Uber will bear the brunt of the cost, $3.1 million in restitution. Uber also now required to reinstate workers who were wrongfully deactivated during the same time period. Uber made a statement tonight saying, "We're glad to have this resolved and appreciate the new administration moving quickly to bring this to a fair conclusion."
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
OpenAI is investing into a brain interface startup that plans to compete against Elon Musk's Neuralink. Merge Labs was co-founded by OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, and OpenAI is Merge Labs' biggest investor. Merge Labs says its initial products will be for medical use, with brain-linked devices helping people with paralysis control computers or turn attempted speech into spoken words. I'm Jason Brooks.
Wins News Time 6:11 now. And from your Mercedes-Benz of Edison.com traffic center, getting you where you need to go tonight is Greg Rice.
Now, the FDR shore is in southbound side of the FDR Drive. We are looking at a whole lot of traffic right now from right around East 34th Street coming down towards East 6th Street. And we don't love it as we're dealing with a crash. And then further down the line, FDR Drive into the Battery Park underpass, a whole other cancel as they get rid of a crash that involved an MTA bus. Also in Lower Manhattan, demonstrations continue. We have been looking at thousands of demonstrators on the move Last check, they were marching up 6th Avenue, getting you past West Houston Street, and they're still going. We've been looking at the same shot with demonstrators marching up 6th Avenue for well over 20 minutes, and they just keep going up 6th Avenue. They're heading in the direction of Washington Square Park, these demonstrators. I'm not sure if that's where they're going, but that's at least a place where a lot of demonstrations have wound up before. Really south of Washington Square Park in the city, you want to stay with the subways tonight. AEF, QR, and W trains all do have delays, but again, subways are better than driving around tonight. City-bound side of the George Washington Bridge could go to the lower uppers in extra 5 to 10 minutes. West Side Highway, the best of it, getting you out of town. North Van Deegen, best you'll find out of the Bronx. Lincoln outbound, no more than 15 to 20 minutes. The inbound Lincoln Tunnel still 20 to 30 minutes. Over at the Holland Tunnel, the outbound ride right now is going to run you 15 to 20. Inbound Skyway's a mess. Newark Bay treats you better. Greg Rice, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
So I'm getting texts from my nephew Dominic Clayton down in Florida listening to us there on Odyssey. Oh, it's cold, it's cold. It's 40 degrees. One on the inside. Your AccuWeather 4-day forecast, the real cold. Meteorologist Carrie Swindon now with this live report.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it is really, really cold out there, and temperatures getting down to 8 in the city is pretty impressive. How about some of those suburbs where we got down to 0 to 5 below? That's with mainly clear skies overhead. Tomorrow, another cold day, sunshine followed by some clouds getting up to 20. Brisk and cold tomorrow night, the low 14. Then a storm passes by well offshore as we head into Sunday. Still, there can be a coating to an inch in parts of eastern Long Island. However, the wind is going to be the bigger issue, combining with the cold to make it feel even colder than it actually is. High 24 degrees. Sunshine, brisk and cold on Monday, high 30.